Alright, yeah, and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we got something very special. We got a Community Spotlight Gladiator event. So this is a brand new format that I honestly know very little about. It's essentially Commander without a commander. Singleton with historic card pool, and you go off in a best of 3 match with your 100 card deck. Best of 3, not something I personally get too much joy out of, but it's best of 3 without a sideboard, so you kind of reduce the odds, I guess, of having that variance keeping you out of a full game of Magic. So I figured we'd just like jump into a simple deck, and that's going to be mono green ramp for us. And the reason why I chose mono green ramp is because I found out that Channel is not a banned card in this format. Channel, for those who don't know, is a very broken card. It's 2 green for a sorcery. Until the end of your turn, any time you could activate a mana ability, you may pay 1 life. If you do, add 1 colorless. So you can basically add as much colorless as you want, equal to your life total if you want, and then cast anything with that mana, which means if you have a Channel in hand and you have 10 life left, you can cast an Ulamog on turn 2. So that's mono green ramp. The rest of the deck is, you know, exactly what you'd expect to see. Gonna try and do a lot of card drawing with Kioras and Garruk's Uprisings and Bestiaries and stuff like that. And a lot of ramping as well with Cultivators and, Settle the Wilds, Mana Dorks like Paradise Druid and Menagerie Curator. Menagerie Curator are not the strongest in terms of its actual payoff, but it adds 1 mana of any colour. It's got 1/3 as its stat line, which is decent. And there are a couple of creatures that are a single creature type, which means we can potentially draw cards off the Curator. So I think it's worth running. You definitely want to shove this in where your creature types are kind of spread thin, which for the most part ours are. We do have a lot of elementals and elves, but other than that, just random Phyrexians and some plants here and some Sharbans, some snakes, some squirrels. We got all sorts in here, so hopefully that'll draw us some cards. But yeah, we're going to go try and get the payoffs into play as early as possible. I'm hoping we see Channel at some point, and I'm guessing we win when we do find it. We got a lot of Planeswalkers. We got Nissel Vital Force, because I love this card, and any excuse to try and make it work is pretty good by me. Again, it's another bit of card advantage, because if you can tick up for 1 and make a 5/5 and Nissa lives, you can just -6 her immediately, which turns all of your lands into redraws, which is cool. Nissa Who Ruins the Game, of course, is in here, and, you know, there's all sorts. I'm sure we'll come across it as and when it appears. I suppose I should talk about some of the cards you probably have never heard of before if you're not into the arena meta ecosphere, whatever you want to call it. Verdant Rejuvenation's one that we played in a Mirim deck for Team of Dragons for Historic Brawl, and this card is absolutely bonkers. It's 8 mana for a sorcery that seeks X creature cards, enchantments, or planeswalkers, where X is the highest mana value among creatures you control. So our goal is to get large creatures like Vorinclex in. Let's use Vorinclex as an example. If we have this in play and we cast Verdant Rejuvenation, we're going to seek X creatures, enchantments, and planeswalker cards, or planeswalker cards. 8 different of those permanents, and just shove them straight onto the battlefield. The game probably is going to be over. We do have a chance to hit like Llanowar Elves and, you know, Elvish Mystics and stuff like that. But I think the density of permanents that matter are going to really do a lot. Like, even if we hit like our lowest planeswalker, which is Kiora, it's going to trigger that ETB probably with the passive, so we'll see how we go there. We also have Traverse the Outlands. I'm going to be trying this card out quite a fair bit. It's 5 mana sorcery, and just sort of similar to the Verdant Rejuvenation in that it cares about the greatest power among the creatures you have on the board, and based off of that, you get to put that many basics onto the battlefield tapped. So if we've got an Ashaya into play who has power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control, we can just double our mana for 5 mana, which seems pretty broken. Got Return the Wild Speaker, draws cards equal to the power. You get the idea. We're hopefully going to find a lot of big things and draw a lot of cards and hopefully see all the cards we want to see at some point during the game. If you do enjoy the gameplay anyway, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It's my first time testing this deck, first time playing Gladiator, so do forgive me if I do make some mistakes. It's completely untested, both in the format, my rustiness with best of 3, and with this deck, so mistakes are coming, I guarantee it, but we'll try and power through them, I suppose. But yeah, let's get to it. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, opponent goes first. We've got 2 mana and an Explorer into potentially a Settle the Wild, so I'm going to keep this hand and hope we get there. On the draw, absolutely do have a little bit of extra chance of hitting that 3rd land, which is fantastic. Rupture Spire. I am afraid of what our opponent is doing. Deeply afraid. I am going to go for land here, because I've got a pretty good quality of cards. Survive Triumph. So do I want a 4-drop or a 5-drop off a Settle? I think I want a 5-drop. So I'm going to play my land, then I'm going to Settle. I think I just want, like, the highest density of threats that our opponent has to respect. Rankle. Ow. Make me discard. I'll get rid of probably Cultivated Colossus. Yeah. Titan of Industry. Potentially a Reanimator deck then. We are going to go with the Cavalier of Thorns to start, because it has reach. And it also has, I get to look into my graveyard and pick any of those cards if you respect it. Eldest Reborn, yeah, so it is Reanimator. 4, 5, 6, 7. Kind of feeling like I just grab Ulamog. Yeah, let's grab Ulamog. Opponent has maybe noticed that Ulamog's coming in hot soon. Oh. Right. Moving on. Best of 1. Yay, my favourite. I much prefer best of 1, I'll be honest, so this is ideal for me. Alright, we get to choose if we want to play first, and we absolutely do. We've got a 2-lander with a Curator. So, keep. Do have to use the Beseju at this rate, but could be okay. Could be okay. At least got a decent start. I think if we get the Curator, it gets to live, and we can potentially do like Tireless Tracker into land drop. That's going to be nice. I'm guaranteed to not get a card draw off the Tireless Tracker, because the Curator is also human. But that's okay. I do have a Hydra that would draw me a card. Is it in your deck? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Alright. 1 Tracking Boy. So we got the Aspirate to worry about. I can do an X3 Voracious Hydra, draw a card. I think Hydra is my only Hydra in the deck, so that'd be nice. Alright, Thought to Arrest. Take that. I think I am killing this Aspirant before it becomes bigger than any of my creatures. Ah, we don't have to use Beseju, which means we can get it back. Get back our Tireless Tracker later down the line as well, which is good to see. So, X3, draw a card. Fight. Yeah, it's possible you could change the deck up a little bit so that Curator goes off a little bit more consistently, but I think just having a 2-mana mana dock that occasionally draws you a card is good enough. So we're at 6 mana next turn. If we got to keep our Hydra, we could draw 3 with the Return of the Wild Speaker. I think I'm probably just gonna settle the Wilds, though. Maybe Beseju Tireless Tracker, then settle the Wilds? Unsure. Opponent can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. Right. I don't know if that really applies to me. Let's get back Tireless Tracker. I do ramp them up to 5. There can be a downside to that for sure. I'm assuming Beanstalk Giant's my only giant as well, which is cool. Light the way, return the permanent to their hand. Alright, so they don't get the basic. I get my Tireless Tracker. Oh, this is only to cast creature spells? Rude. Let me try and draw a land. Alright. That's not as free as I thought it was with the Curator, but still, I got my value. They could permanently get rid of the Hydra, because it'll come back with no counters on it, being a baseline 0-1, but I'm assuming that they really don't want me having Tireless Tracker, because they got rid of it before, and they'll probably want to get rid of it again. They'll regret that, potentially. Because I am 1 land away from a Nyx Bloom Ancient, and I have the tools to... Ooh. That's interesting. Let's get a 7-drop. So I'm going to Beanstalk Giant, put this onto the battlefield untapped, play Settle the Wilds. You're a human warrior, so you don't draw anything. That is an elephant, which is its own creature type, so that'll draw me a card while dealing with the Magistrate. Which actually is shutting off the Beanstalk Giant. There is some relevance to its text there. It's not just a 2-mana 1/3. Opponent's not showcasing the power of their deck as much as I'd have expected. They have had this other card. So it puts a counter on a vehicle and untaps it, or it returns a permanent of their choosing. Is this supposed to be like... I don't know. It kind of looks sort of like it's trying to be mono white aggro, but I almost get the impression they want to be like Death and Taxes. Alright. Let's Mammoth. Draw me that card. Boom. A beast. Get rid of Ghost Shintai. It's producing creatures. We don't like creatures. Alright, so now every time I get a creature, they lose a creature. Trample is a thing, so I wouldn't really have blocked there, but that's okay. It wasn't me choosing to block. Minimus Containment. Oh, noes. And Swift Response. Sure. Mono White Control, maybe? Are you trying to be Mono White Control? With an aspirant in it? See my level of confusion here, chat? I don't understand. So this will give me 6 mana. So let's go with... I like an Elder GG. Not gonna lie. I'm here for an Elder GG. And our opponent is not. Okay. Yeah, just an overabundance of threats. And our opponent cries and moves on to the next game. So now they're on the play. They get to showcase their deck at its best possible appearance, maybe. I don't know. Potentially I just, like, don't draw anything. Oh, I win again. Alright, well, we are 1x, 1x, I guess. Let's go on to another game, I suppose. I've completed this event, so yeah, it's a thing, I guess. Alrighty then, we're in, and it's mono 4-drops, so gonna mull that one back on into the deck, and this one looks so much better. It's got a Thorn Mammoth, which is a little late game, but we have an Abundant Harvest to find a non-land. We got Paradise Druid to rush us to it. Now I'm kind of just wondering, do I want a land? Maybe not. I'm gonna go explore land. Let's just get another non-land. Great Henge is a good one. Revealed a Boseiju. Moon Circuit Hacker. Alright. Well, in that case, I'm going to produce a Paradise Druid and probably quite happily block the Hacker with my Hexproofer. I don't know what they were planning there, but I did not really want to see the results of it. Let's play our Forest. I was thinking about whether or not Turn Timber ends up being a land, but we'll figure that later down the line since we're already at 5 mana. There's a lot of good top decks here. So, blocking the Moon Circuit Hacker just so they don't do a draw and discard. It was very odd the way that they actually went about doing their business there, but is what it is. I'm a little bit worried about it being mono blue counterspells. Demilich can attack, reveal nothing, so they don't have like an opt or something in their hand. Nothing they'd want to play and then bring back. Alright, so I'm going to play Cavalier with Sensor backup. So we need a stronger counterspell, and there's the Neutralize. Demilich not going to get much use out of that. I am on now Thorn Mammoth and Turn Timber, which are very strong cards if our opponent doesn't have the protection for them. See, it's matchups like this where I wonder why they even bother doing best of 3, because... Oh, you didn't want that? I wondered why they do best of 3, because isn't the point to... Right, well, I'm just going to go Turn Timber, Bolt, Thorn Mammoth. If it doesn't resolve, I wouldn't be terribly surprised. If it does, I'm winning the game, probably. Maybe they got a bounce spell. I actually want to get rid of Delver here, because it could flip and fly over the top. Ah, they're going to counter the ability by sacking the Delver. Okay. Alright, well, what's the last card? And do I have something I could finale to stay alive here? I could Great Henge into something. This is going to give me some life. Let's see, X4. I've just got my tracker at the side, chat. Nath, Toski, Goreclaw. Yeah, I think I just have to play Gemrazor. Kill the Amalgam. And then probably X1 to kill the Demilich. Because if they bounce, I lose. And they didn't have the answer there, so... library, give me Gilded Goose. Fight again. Draw a card. Blizzard Brawl, fantastic. Alright. Well, I've got Surprise Reach on Gemrazor, I've got a Flyer to protect. I've got food and Great Henge gaining me life now, so I feel like I'm going to win the game from this spot. even without my Thor Mammoth, which saved the day, definitely. We were just like a counterspell away from losing, but that is mono blue in a nutshell. Of one mind. Alright, divination. Land. What does it take to get Demi-Lich back? One less blue for each instant and sorcery you've cast. You can cast it from your graveyard by exiling 4 instants and sorceries. Fair enough. Not quite there yet. Mu Yang Ling. This is not gonna benefit you all that much.
Sky is my domain.
Lucky for you, though, I drew a forest. 7, 8, 9, 10. So I technically have the means to cast Ulamog without playing this land, so would I want to hold it for, like, Tireless Tracker? I guess with Great Henge redrawing, probably not. Let's go after Mu Yang Ling. So otherwise it'll make a flyer. Can't be having our opponent gaining advantage over us. And I'm honestly surprised that they're still playing, because we've turned the corner now. And Mono Blue cannot allow you to turn the corner. I don't really think they've got too many catch-up mechanics in their deck. I'm sure they've got like some like X draw cards maybe. Like the finale, the blue finale. But other than drawing a lot of cards, I don't really know what they're planning to do here. If they bounce a creature, it's just a redraw for me. Or it eats a card out of their hand, which, you know, is just a nice fair trade. Suit up. Yeah, redrawing off my creature, sure. Sphinx of the Foresight is dead. I won't crack my food yet. You never know, I might actually like that. A Shire. Turning my non-tokens into lands. You know you've got to. You've just got to. Alright, good luck. All your lands, don't untap when you use them. You can hit me for a bit. But I don't think you could hit me for 11. Pretty good. On to the next one. Yeah, really lucky with that Thor Mammoth. Really lucky. Let's see if we're lucky on the next game, because I'd really rather not have 2 games against our opponent's deck. The old best of 3 issue. I suppose for the video I could actually just like say, yay, we won and move on. Since this is a best of 1 channel and I don't like best of 3. But it's a new format. I guess you gotta play it in the way that it was intended. Which, again, surprises me because I could have sworn that the Arena team said best of 1 was the most played format. But I guess Gladiator is a best of 3 format? I don't know. Constructed's a best of 3 format. It doesn't stop us playing best of 1. So confusing. Our opponent sideboarding with their 0-card sideboard. Good stuff. Unless it is the sideboarding chat, I don't know. If there is, I don't have one. I'm just like, run it on back. I'm pretty sure there's no sideboard. You'll tell me in the comments below, I'm sure. No doubt about that. It's got no early game. Not till turn 3, and that could be countered. It's got no early game. There we go, that's a lot of early game. Alright, I just want the early game for now. So just give me the Llanowar Elves, the Druids, and the Traverses. Ascendant Spirit, yeah, you hate to see that. Llanowar Elves. Actually, you don't mind seeing that, because your opponent's running islands. They actually cannot pump that to save their life. Good to know. Snow-covered islands, buddy. Alright, that is 3 best-of-1 games in a row. Gonna be honest, chat, I'm not that big of a fan of this format, and apparently neither are my opponents, because I don't get more than a best-of-1 experience out of them. Yeah, I wouldn't expect more of this format, to be honest. It looks like Commander and looks like Brawl, which I do enjoy quite a lot, but with Brawl, at least there's like, I don't know, a game plan. And you can just like not play the matchups you don't like after one game. I don't know. It's clearly popular. It's clearly for someone, but it isn't for me. Let's put it that way. Would I recommend the deck that I played? Probably not. I would probably neck deck a list off of someone who cared a little bit more about the format. I just kind of fancy playing mono green because I figured, knowing nothing about the format, it'd be a good stepping point to just kind of like stomp our opponent with big things. And yeah, it doesn't seem like a good strategy. I should also point out as well that there are community decks at the bottom of your deck list pile. If you go to the community spotlight Gladiator, you can pick any of these decks. Unfortunately, Wizards is greedy, so you actually have to craft all the cards if you are missing them. But at the top, we'll have the decks that you have all the cards for. I mean, in my case, I'm only missing like 1 mythic, 2 mythics, you know, here and there. So for the big old whale that I am, not too much of a problem for me, but maybe for you guys might be a little bit more. I don't know. But if there's one down here, you can maybe play whatever decks that you can invest into slightly and check out the decks as and when. But yeah, I don't know. I like to build my own decks, and is what it is. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I don't want to leave it on a downer where I'm like, I won 3 times in a row and didn't like the format, but I won 3 times in a row and didn't like the format, so it is what it is, really. So we'll be back for content that's not like this in the future. Historic Brawl, Explorer, and all of that jazz, as you are familiar with and have come to expect from the channel. So yeah, if you want to see more of that and you want to see the videos do a little bit better, you can help out the channel for free by hitting that like button, subscribing, hitting the bell icon as well to get notifications when my videos go live in the future. And without further ado, I'm going to end it off here. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.